Information overload. It is everywhere. But have you ever stopped to think about if it is negatively impacting your decision making? The aim of this presentation is to identify what information overload is, what role social media has played in this, and does information overload affect decision making negatively on a global scale? So, how on earth can we fix this? Information overload is described as the feeling of difficulty in comprehending a matter and effectively coming to a decision due to withholding too much information about that issue. We make on average 221 more decisions about just food per day than what we're consciously aware of. Having too many decisions to make on a daily basis ultimately leads to decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is most simply defined as individuals find the act of making decisions to be exhausting. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt stated that there was 5 exabytes of information created between the dawn of civilization through 2003. But that much information is now created every 2 days. A study conducted by 2 American researchers in 1999 analysed 31 experiments on 18 bankruptcy prediction studies, which concluded that despite information diversity and repetitiveness, information overload negatively impacts on the quality of how a decision is made. Another researcher studied the impact on whether information overload can threaten sound decision making by focusing on the decision to regulate accounting standards in the US. This decision was made complicated by information overload, thus concluding that it can threaten sound decision making. Social media enables information overload as it allows for instantaneous access. According to Carr, the dramatic increase in new media has in turn resulted in the loss of capacity for sustained concentration. An incline in social media creates a wheel of information overload, which leads to overwhelmed and less informed individuals, thus poorer decision making. French sociologist Baudrillard describes information overload as drowning out of substance by noise. It can therefore be concluded that social media outlets overwhelm users with too much information, leading to less meaningful and comprehensive decisions and opinions. Information overload caused negative decision making in regards to the US presidential election of 2016. There are multitudes of information, false or true, that implicate Donald Trump's true personality. An angelic image of him was mostly fueled by fake information overload to make people like him. Evidently, the American people, albeit some of the world, were fooled. With the help of social media, his support grew. This support was built on mostly lies and fear. If it wasn't the latest Facebook post they saw of Trump helping an old lady cross the street, it was a photoshopped but very realistic image of him rescuing a kitten. The reality is that it no longer remains the responsibility of networks to broadcast valuable, truthful news. Trump supporters are a prime example of people who are suffering from fake information overload, thus leading to poor decision making and the presidency of a television personality. So, we propose a solution. Giving more freedom to the public in regards to passing on baton of censorship, instead of algorithms determining what we see and what we don't on significant matters. We are able to enable a setting preference so that we are exposed to every side of a story, instead of just what the internet wants us to hear. This will provide unfiltered and unbiased distribution of information to audiences, and the ability to make fair and balanced decisions on global issues will significantly improve. Overall, information overload is negatively impacting our decisions, but we can overcome this.